All right. So looking at GC here, the first thing we see, obviously there's this big level up here, right? Um, any other 4-hour levels, we see one right here as well, right around this level, going down more, one right here. This is kind of a bigger level, but obviously it's, going for the swings. So, let's see, what else do we have? It's kind of a smaller level right on here, right? Make it a little bit bigger, but something like that. And then maybe we'll draw one more. Um, it can kind of get tricky whenever it's a bit choppier sometimes, but we'll do something like that. All right. All right, so now that we have our 4-hour levels, we'll drop to a 30-minute chart and see if there's kind of any levels within here, just so we can kind of slim down where we want to look for trades ideally. Mm, so little one right here as well, which, yep, it does align with. Um, and we'll just keep doing this on all of them. So we have kind of a smaller level right here as well. Sometimes they'll, be right around the middle. Sometimes they'll be at the top. It really just depends. But then, so we have one like right here as well, which it coincides with. So we'll just get rid of this smaller one right here. And then we'll draw one right around here. So now we want to identify the structure of the current market. So obviously, um, it is a bit, um, it's kind of in a consolidation pattern right now, right? You can tell that, on the run up here, volume was, um, it was fairly elevating. You can always use a volume SMA to kind of see it as well, but now volume's on the decline. Um, I believe that volume MA, yeah. So you can see volumes on the decline. So, like I said, it's just consolidation, but you can kind of see here that, right, gold is looking to break out in either direction. You're going to want to see, volume towards that direction as well. But right now, you can see it's just in a consolidation pattern, went level to level. But I mean, playing gold, same way I would play, anything else, right? Look at all the sweeps right here, right? It failed to close above. You could even go as to say this one as well, right? It swept all this liquidity, right? And then as far as entries go, once it swept liquidity, you could have had an entry here. You could have had one, once it swept here, of course, you could have one right here, right? And now obviously, I mean, if you're risking 10 points on, one GC contract, that's what, $1,000. So if you do one micro, that's 100. Obviously you can do two or three MGC, but and then you would just target the next, um, you know, next liquidity area or, next zone. So in a range-based market, um, I'm not too familiar with gold, but I mean it looks that it kind of tends to respect the levels for the most part, level to level. But you can see right here, there's quite a bit of 30-minute consolidation up here, so you could have, targeted liquidity close to it or the liquidity, in that zone, the next level, right? And even, with micros, right? You can have one micro here, right? You can take your profit one right here. You can do, a next target up here or something, right? That's 90 points. And then, have a third one as a runner, right? So next level would be, I don't know, and maybe target somewhere up here, right? Because we just have, no target right here actually. There's this level right here, right? Right on that dump that is still yet to hit, right? So you can play these swings for, bigger moves, right? This was risking 10 points. If this hits the final target, that'll be 100 and almost 130 points on that one micro. Um, you know, taking profits along the way, right? So you're always securing, um, profits along the way, but that's how I'd probably play GC, right? Obviously, it's, you're not going to be getting in many trades, right? As in, this trade took a while to play out. And as far as swinging goes, obviously you can't, get hold the whole thing multiple days, right? So this trade happened at this would have been at 12 a.m., right? So it's kind of hard to say if you would have been awake or not, but either way, once you see it happen, you can get an entry. Even off the next morning, right? It swept some liquidity. So, but as long as you know the general direction, um, then you can play it however you want. But you can just, enter, and then once it's 4 p.m. the next day or whatever, Eastern, you can get out and then re-enter once market opens, or you can wait for a bit of a pullback, right, towards the 30-minute zone here, which actually if you expand it a bit, you can see that it did hit it twice prior, and it's still, it's still held every time. So, you can always re-enter the next day. But, you know, when looking at it like this, right, even if you were to take profit up here and re-enter down here, right, this is still your general trade, right? This is still the overall trade that you're in. You're just having to re-enter with market close, right? So, that's just how I would look at it that way. But yeah, overall, right, just waiting for that consolidation, waiting for it to break out on either side for more clear direction. But otherwise, you're just gonna wanna, you know, long the bottoms, short the tops, right? So, pretty simple.